name's Claire and this is Stitch Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Friday Sews. Now apologies, this is coming to you super late. I'm filming this actually on Saturday evening, so hopefully I'll get it up on Sunday for you. So yeah, sorry, a rather late Friday Sews. So I really wanted to get a Friday Sews out to you this week, but unfortunately my week has just taken a little bit of a turn because I wasn't very well during the week. I was sick for a few days, and that's just sort of put my schedule out, not just for YouTube, I mean just generally put my life schedule out a bit this week, with a super busy week at work as well. Just things have just got a bit awry, so apologies. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you don't mind that it's coming out a little bit late, but I really wanted to pop out a video for you today because I wanted to talk about my Eve dress that I said that I was sewing up in my last Friday Sews. I was hoping to sew up for a wedding, and I had so many lovely comments on that video, just saying that people were looking forward to seeing it, and people were saying that they had made it, and I'd mentioned that I was feeling a little bit anxious about making the Eve dress because I think because I knew I was sewing up for a particular event. Now I've sewn up, you know, quite a lot of dresses in the past, but because of COVID, I guess I hadn't had a scenario where I was actually sewing for a particular event. So yeah, I felt a bit anxious about it, but I needn't have worried. It all came together well, and I'm actually wearing the Eve dress now. I'm really pleased with it. Before I get into the Eve dress, I'll just mention one other thing that I have been sewing this week, and then I'll talk about the Eve dress. So just before the end of the school term, that sort of ended the 23rd of July, I decided, oh crikey, I better make some teacher gifts for my son's teacher, well my elder son's teachers, but also my younger son's preschool teachers. And I wanted to make something that would sew up really quickly because I hadn't allowed myself enough time, of course, and also something that would be that I could use for male and female gifts. And so I thought I'd sew up a little something and then add a box of chocolates. Hey presto, a little gift for them. So what I decided to sew up was some key fobs, and this is an example of one of the ones that I sewed up. Obviously that they've all been gifted now, so I'll pop a picture in of the other ones so you can see the different types of fabric that I used. And I bought these sort of key fob attachments, key fob bits to it. I just picked these up from eBay. You can buy them on Amazon and obviously lots of other places as well. I bought a pack of 10. You can buy them in much bigger quantities, and I probably will sew some of these up again for Christmas presents. I think they'll be ideal gifts, little gifts to give to some people at work, and just little extra stocking fillers for family members, etc. So I do think that I'll be sewing some of these up in the future, so I'll probably buy these bits in slightly larger quantity next time, but I just wanted to see whether they would work, so I didn't want to buy in sort of mass quantity. I think I bought them as a pack of 10, and they sort of come like this, and some of the packs come with a tool that you can close them with. I didn't bother to buy that. Basically they're just a pair of pliers and you're just paying additional money for that. So I just used a pair of needle nose pliers, you know, from the toolbox at home, and that worked really well, and obviously saved myself some money by not buying that special tool, which basically is a pair of pliers. And you just basically squidge that bit together around your two bits of fabric. And what I've done is I've just used some fusible foam as like in between the bit of fabric, and I've just top stitched on down both sides. These sew up within a matter of minutes. I think I made about 6 in, I don't know, a space. They didn't take me longer than an hour. It was probably well less than that to make 6 of them. They sew up super quick, and once you've done one, you know exactly what you're doing. You can bash them out. So yeah, if anybody is looking for a super easy quick gift for Christmas presents, or sorry to mention Christmas in July, or I guess it will be August when this video comes out, will it? Maybe, no, maybe just be in July. So sorry to mention the Christmas word, but I know that some sewers like to be really on top of their Christmas bakes, and so probably some people have more than started by now. So yeah, just a little idea as a gift for to pop in with a birthday present or a thank you present or whatever. So yeah, just a great idea. So on to my Eve dress. Now this is, the pattern is from Sew Over It, and it has a really good size range, of which I'm not quite sure all the details. I haven't got the pattern with me at the moment, but I'll pop those up on the screen, and I'll pop obviously a link to the pattern in the description notes below, and obviously everything that I speak about today I'll pop in those description notes. So this pattern, I needn't have worried about it. It came together so well, so nicely. The fabric I bought from a D-stash from the lovely Crystal from my social thread on her D-stash. I had about 4 meters of this fabric to play with, which I was really pleased about, because you cut most of the pattern pieces out on a single layer rather than out on the fold, because the skirt pieces are quite large, and also so because I was cutting them as a single layer rather than on the fold, I managed to cut the sleeve, 2 sleeves the same way rather than being a mirrored version, so I had to cut the sleeve out again. So I didn't use the whole of the 4 meters of fabric, and if I'd been a little bit more strategic with my fabric placement, I probably could have squeezed it out of a bit less, but I was pleased that I didn't need to sort of worry too much about it. I lengthened the bodice by 1 inch, which I'm pleased with, but I also lowered the bust darts by 1 inch, and actually I didn't need to do that, so I will remove that for next time round. I don't think I added any length to the skirt, which is unusual for me, and it's also, you'll see from the pictures, I'll pop a picture in here now, and I think I've got a little bit of footage. If that's come out okay, then I'll pop that in as well. This skirt actually comes sort of, I guess, not quite midi, kind of almost midi length, which for me is a length version that I don't normally go for. I normally find that I feel a bit frumpy in it, but I decided that I would go for the length that the pattern is sort of designed for, and then if I didn't like it I could always sort of cut it shorter. But actually once I'd sewn it up I really liked it, and I decided that I'd go for it. I showed my husband and he liked the length on me as well, and so I went with that. And the only other alteration I made is I think I added 1 inch to the length of the flatter sleeve, just because I thought that I sometimes sleeves come up a little bit short for my liking, and I just thought it'd be nice just to have that little bit of extra length on the sleeve, which I'm pleased that I did. It might not have been quite as much of 1 inch, it might have been more like 3/4 of an inch. I just sort of added a little bit almost at the last minute from that point of view. So it's got a really lovely wrap design to it. It's a proper wrap dress rather than being a faux wrap, and it's got a really good wrap over section. It's a proper bring, you know, the front piece sort of right round to the side, so you don't feel like you're going to sort of, it's going to go open and you're going to flash or anything like that. So that's, you don't need to worry about that. It's, I feel like it covers quite nicely here. You could, you know, if you were worried about it being sort of too revealing, you could always sort of put a little popper in there or something, but for the wedding it was perfect. I really liked it, and I got so many lovely compliments on the day on my dress and also on Instagram, so thank you so much. I think it must be my most liked post on Instagram, or if it isn't my most liked, it's definitely up there. So thank you so much for your love over there and for your comments. I really do appreciate it. Now on the day of the wedding, I decided that I didn't have a bag and that I was going to make one, as you do at the very last minute. So I said to my husband, I just need an hour. I'm going to whip up a bag in an hour. And he went, can you really do that? And I said, I don't know. I've watched a tutorial from Debbie Shaw. I'm going for it. I was fairly sure that I would be able to do it. I've made patterns from Debbie before in terms of following tutorials on her YouTube channel. And so I know her instructions are really clear. They're really concise. She really holds your hand through it. And I'd made a similar sort of design almost when I followed a tutorial for a sunglasses case, and this was basically along the same principles but obviously a little bit larger, and it also had a little sort of hanging loop as well. So I made it from the same fabric. I used fusible foam to make it a little bit more solid, so obviously it's got the viscose fabric on the outside. I made a strap out of the fabric, which I just used by cutting a length of fabric and adding some sort of medium weight interfacing, I would suggest, and then folding it again a bit like you would with sort of bias binding, and then just doing sort of 2 rows of top stitching. In the pattern tutorial that Debbie Shaw does on YouTube, she suggests using a piece of ribbon for the handle, but I didn't have any that would coordinate, and I actually thought that for the particular bag that I was making, that making it out the same fabric would work nicer for what I was looking for. She'd also added a bow on the front. I didn't bother with that, and I've just used a magnetic closure to finish it. And on the inside I just used a fat quarter that I had that was in an orangey kind of colour to pick up some of the tones within the fabric itself. If I'm honest with you, the fat quarter isn't my favourite, but it worked quite well to sort of coordinate with, and it was the only fat quarter I could find, or other bit of fabric that I could find, that I felt went sort of reasonably well. And I didn't have quite enough of this fabric. If I think about it, I probably could have pieced a couple of bits together, but I was, as I say, I was in a bit of a rush, and so I just went for it. And it's just an envelope basically, but all the seams are sort of enclosed inside because of the way Debbie shows you to do it. And as I say, I've just put a magnetic clasp on there, and Debbie shows you how to do all of that. So really simple little bag, and you can see how I managed to sew this up in the space of cut it out and sew it up in the space of an hour. But I was so pleased that I did it. I got so many lovely compliments on the day about my dress and the bag, and one of my friends who didn't know that I sew said to me, oh, where did you get your dress from? I really like it. I love the fact you've got a matching bag as well. And I said, oh, thank you, I made it. And she just couldn't believe it. She was like, what? You can't possibly have made that. How can you possibly have made that? And then Rog mentioned the fact that I'd made Rog, sorry, is my husband, mentioned the fact that I'd made the bag in an hour. She just thought it was incredible and was like, you must make me one. And then I had to have that conversation of, oh, I don't really make for others, and no, I'm fairly new to it, and I can teach you if you like. All those sort of things to try and work my way out of it. But no, she was lovely about it, and so was everybody else. So yeah, really, really super chuffed with this make. If you watch Sean from Kittenish Behaviour, she is a massive fan of the Eve dress. So if you need any sort of hints and tips, or you want to see lots of versions of it, then head over to her channel, because she has made, I don't know, 13 of them or something on those lines. So yeah, she's definitely the person to visit if you want to see lots of different versions sewn up. So those are the things that I have made in the last couple of weeks, and so I thought I would show you some of the things that I have been buying, and then talk through some plans that I've got for the rest of the week. So the first thing I've got to show you is actually not something that I bought, but something that I won. I often enter Instagram giveaways and things, but I've never actually won one of them. But I was lucky enough to win one the other day from the pattern pages. They were doing a giveaway, and there was various different things that you could win, but the thing that I won was some scissors. They're some Fiskars scissors. They're from their recycled range. I'll pop a picture in of how they came in the packaging, because I've got rid of all of that now, recycling it of course, and just delighted to win a prize. So thank you so much to the pattern pages. They're Fiskars scissors, so they're really nice, obviously cut really well, and just so exciting to win something. So yeah, really chuffed with those ones. So I just thought I'd share those with you. So I have been buying a few things and getting myself organised. I will be doing a video about my July makes and my August plans, so I won't go into sort of too much detail into these fabrics, because I'll talk about kind of what I'm going to plan to make with them. But I just thought I'd show you what I've been buying. I've just thought of one more fabric. Bear with me 2 ticks. Okay, so the first fabric I won't be sewing up for a while, but I saw it on a D-stash and I thought it was so cute, I couldn't resist buying it. And I do like to stock up on this type of fabric ready for the holiday period. So it's this really super cute cotton jersey fabric that's got these sort of Christmas gnomes all over it, or gonks, whatever you'd like to call them. Just so cute. And I like to try and get in some sort of Christmassy jersey fabrics ready for some sort of Christmas PJs and jumpers and stuff for the boys before the sort of Christmas rush, if you like, of everyone buying them, because the prices tend to be a little bit more expensive the closer you get to Christmas. And I just saw that particular fabric and thought it was super cute. So yeah, couldn't resist that one. But obviously that one won't be sewn up until November, December time. Then I made an order with Pound Fabrics, and I've got a few fabrics, and I also bought a couple of sewing sort of accessories, if you like. I'm not sure whether that's a new thing for Pound Fabrics, for them to do some haberdashery items, or whether I just hadn't noticed it on their website before. So I picked up a Prim tool, their pliers, Vario pliers do they call them, set, and so that's going to be super useful. And then I also picked up a expandable gauge thing that you can use when you're, you know, trying to decide your distances between buttons or pleats and that sort of thing. So I just thought that would be really useful, because I've been doing items with buttons a little bit more recently, so I just thought that would be super useful. I bought some more of this lovely teal, you'll notice that I rather like teal, this teal jersey fabric. I made a pearl cardigan, Tilly and the Buttons pearl cardigan, for a collab project that I was doing with Crystal from my social thread a couple of months ago, and I really like this colour, and I wanted to make actually a couple of just more sort of basic t-shirts from that. So I've picked up a couple of meters of that one. The next fabric is a super plain just fabric for, it's just a cotton, I think it's a poly cotton fabric, just to make a toile of my husband's coat that I'm looking to make him. And I just thought I'd pick up, it's got it's not super thin, it's got a reasonable weight to it, super wide fabric. It's like a 94-inch fabric. I guess it's almost like a fabric that you would use for making duvets or something. I don't really know. Anyway, super wide, so I should have loads of fabric. I've got like 3 meters of that to try out just a trial in terms of size for my husband. The jacket that I'm making is like a Parker style jacket. It's a simplicity pattern. I'll pop a picture in, and the fabric that I've got is actually a reasonably thin fabric, so I think that although obviously this is quite lightweight, it shouldn't be so far off from that, so I think that will work out quite nicely. And the last fabric that I bought was this fabric. Now this is totally and utterly Adele's from Sofa Serenity, because she bought this fabric some time ago, and she made a deer and doe Sirocco jumpsuit from it, and she always goes on about how soft and gorgeous this fabric is. Now it is a polyester fabric, it's like an IT, I think they call it like an ITY fabric, but she is not wrong, it is buttery soft. And I'm not going to make a Sirocco, I don't think. I'm not going to completely copy her, I just was copying her on the fabric, but I'm thinking maybe a Westcliff, Friday pattern Westcliff dress at some point. I think for the sort of autumn winter time for work, this will be absolutely perfect. The office gets really cold, so I don't think I'll have a problem with the fact that it's not so breathable, with the fact that it's not cotton, so hopefully that one will look really nice. So yeah, Adele from Sofa Serenity, completely your fault. Now that's everything I've been buying in terms of haberdashery and fabric, but I've bought a few patterns recently too. I finally bought the Brombury skirt from Megan Nielsen, which I have been banging on about for several videos now. I bought the Iris t-shirt from Forget Me Not Patterns, but I've also bought the Solar t-shirt and jumper pattern from Paper Cut Patterns. Now you may have seen on Instagram that Katie, who is the owner of Paper Cut Patterns, has unfortunately been diagnosed with cancer, and is obviously taking some time out to hopefully get well, but her lovely team are obviously carrying on in the meantime. But the lovely Erin from Loudly Positive and Kirsten from the Dahlia Society had put a thing out on Instagram to everyone to suggest that perhaps a lovely way to support Katie and her business would be to buy a new pattern, or a new to you pattern, and to sew that up and post your makes on the 5th of August. Now I realise there's not a huge amount of time left to do that now, but that is one of the things that I'm planning on doing this week. I've actually made a good start on my t-shirt, and I just need to finish hemming it. Now the hashtag to use if you do want to join in with that is PDF for paper cut support. Now I'm going to pop that across the screen because I want to make sure that I've said that right, so apologies if I haven't. Now the version that I am in the process of making, that I need to finish up and that I've done so far, it's just a simple version. I haven't added the sort of fluttery bit to the sleeve. I've just done sort of a toile, if you like, in this viscose fabric, and I need to hem the sleeves and the bottom and do some stitching round the neckline, and possibly add a label or something as well if I want to. So that's all coming together really nicely. It's a lovely pattern. I've also in the past made the Nova Coat by Paper Cut Patterns, which was my first foray into coat making, which I loved making, absolutely loved it. And they've also brought out their Paper Cute range in the last few weeks, which is so sweet. It's got lots of lovely mini versions of their patterns. So if you're very much into sort of the matchy, then do check out their Paper Cute range as well, because it's so cute. And there's lots of the patterns that are sort of unisex as well, so that's, you know, makes it really good as well, because they're really lovely and versatile. So that's one of my plans for this week, is to finish off that t-shirt. I also need to think about my August makes and what I want to make during August, and definitely I really want one of those makes to be the Rugby Skirt by Megan Nielsen. So my plan for this week is to get that pattern printed out, taped together or glued together, and hopefully get my fabric cut out as well. If I can make a start on it, then great, fantastic. But I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. My work schedule at the moment is absolutely balmy. The kids are on holiday, and yeah, sewing is not necessarily getting the priority that I would like it to get at the moment. But it will, there will still be some sewing to be had, and towards the end of August I do have some annual leave, and whilst the children will be around as well, obviously I'm hoping that I'll be able to squeeze some time in during August a little bit more for some sewing, which I'm really looking forward to, because sewing has been a little bit light on the ground particularly over the month of July, for me anyway. So I think that's everything from me today. I really do appreciate you watching. Thank you so much to everybody that has watched previous videos, who likes them, who subscribes, and for all your lovely comments. All of those things help to keep me going, keep me making more videos. It really does encourage me to sort of keep going and know that you're liking what I'm making. So thank you so much to everyone that takes the time, and do please click that like button. It does let YouTube know that you are enjoying it and puts it out to more people, and also all your lovely comments as well. That really helps. So if you haven't subscribed, please do consider doing so if you've enjoyed today's video. There's lots of back videos that you can go through if you want to have a bit of a binge watch. But until next week, take care, happy sewing, bye bye.